Hey, hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sagar Utekar, and this is day 9 of our free CK series. This is going to be very short and crisp video again. We are going to discuss about YAML, which is very widely used format for writing our Kubernetes resource file and the manifest file. Okay, YAML is nothing but yet another markup language, which is a data serialization language. When we ask kubectl to create a pod and it communicates with a API server, we pass we need to provide some information to kubectl in the form of manifest file or in the form of object. So when these objects should contain the information about what API version we want to use, what kind of resource we want to create, the name of the resource we want to create, and the specifications such as what is the desired state we are expecting of this object. Okay. So there are two main ways to create any resource into your Kubernetes. One is a declarative method and the other one is a imperative method. In the declarative method, we provide the entire manifest file with all this information. And in the imperative method, we use the commands to create the resources or to manage the resources. And for a CK exam, we need to know both the ways how to manage the resources using declarative and the imperative method. For example, in the manifest file of your Kubernetes object, if you want to create any object, you will specify API version, kind, metadata, and spec. API version specifies the version of the Kubernetes API you are using to create this object. The kind specifies the kind of the objects you want to create, which means whether do you want to create a pod, deployment, service, network policy, role binding, and many other such resources are available. In the metadata, you will give a name, unique name to your object, and then you will specify the labels, annotations, the namespace where you want to create this object. In the specification, you will specify the desired state of your object. Okay. I have taken the very simple example of creating a pod using declarative method and using an imperative method. You can get this pod manifest file from your Kubernetes documentation. So just go into your Kubernetes doc and search for the pod and click on the first link. If you scroll down, you will see here the basic example of creating a pod using a manifest file, and this is a definition. This is what we discussed. We need to specify the API version, kind, metadata, and spec. So API version for the pod is v1, kind is a pod, metadata. In the metadata, we are giving a name to this pod, and in this spec, we are specifying the container specification. Okay. So there is some structure here, and we are going to discuss this YAML structure and the types available into YAML. Okay, so this is one way of creating your object. Okay, let me copy this and I'll save these into one of the files. So sudo vi pod1.yaml. Let me save this and let's see if we can create an object, similar object using the command as well. So the command for creating your pod is a kubectl run, then specify the name of the pod, specify the image and the container port. If you don't want to create a pod right away and you want to save the actual command output into the file, then you can use additional parameters, try run client and -o YAML. So this will save your pod manifest file, which got created using this command, and it is going to save that. You can save that into one of manifest file. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. And if we compare or cat this, so cat pod manifest YAML, you will see here that this command kubectl run in nginx image port dry run equal to client -YAML, and then redirect the output of that command into file. It actually created this same, almost same manifest file, API version, kind, metadata, spec, and the container specifications inside it. Isn't that amazing? We need to know both these ways how to create resources using declarative and the imperative method. You can find the imperative commands on your Kubernetes documentation. So if you go here onto Kubernetes IO docs references and then search for the kubectl, it will show all the commands of your kubectl. So this command is run command. It is for creating and running a container image in a pod. There are a bunch of examples here, and you will see this kind of commands we are going to execute during our upcoming videos as well. Okay, so make sure you practice enough in imperative commands before going for your Kubernetes exam. Once that is done, if you want to create our actual resource, then we can use the kubectl apply command and pass our manifest file. So we can use any of these: kubectl apply -f and pod manifest file. Okay, it is showing that the pod has been created and you know how to get the pod list, kubectl get pods, right? Our Nginx pod is started. So this is what we did using imperative and the declarative method. That's what I wanted to explain. The main part is how this file, YAML file or the YAML manifest file is structured and what are the different things we need to understand. Let's see the YAML syntax. There are three major categories we need to understand into YAML. The YAML have a key value pairs. This is a basic data type, which you will see into your next data types as well, arrays and the dictionaries. Key value pairs are defined with a key colon value format. And the next data type is a arrays or a list. The list will have the multiple items which needs to be grouped into a single list. You can compare this with your CPP or Python arrays or the list. Okay, and the list items are denoted by the hyphen or the dash. Okay. And the third data type is a dictionary or the maps. Dictionaries are a collection of key value pairs, and each key into your dictionary must needs to be unique. That's the difference between your list and the dictionary. List items can be repeated or can have the duplicate keys, but your dictionaries cannot have duplicate keys. So let's see that with a clear and more complex example. When we want to create a pod which have the multiple containers, then how our pod manifest will look like. The same things are needs to be present: API version, kind, metadata, and spec for your pod. API version is V1, kind is a pod. Then metadata here is a dictionary for your pod. Okay, what metadata is we are specifying a name for our pod, we are specifying a labels for our pod. Then in the specifications we are specifying the space definitions for the multiple containers which we want to create. So containers is nothing but a list here, and for each container we are specifying its properties. Okay, so this is one item of your container, and we know if there is a dash in front of the item, which means it is one single item. When new dash started, it will become a second item of the list. Okay, so this is the entire one item of your container, and here we are specifying we want to create a Nginx container using Nginx 1.14.2 image, and the port. This is the port we want to use. This is the environment variables we want to use. This is a security context we want to use. Okay, and next thing is this is the second item or the second container of the pod, sidecar container, which needs to be started with a busy box. These are the arguments for the sidecar container. This is the environment. These are the environment variables for our sidecar container. So that is how we structure our pod manifest file when we want to use the multiple containers inside one pod, right? And you need to understand the structure for other resources as well. You'll refer to the official documentation for creating a manifest file, but don't worry about that. The basic structure is similar: API version, kind, metadata, and spec. And inside spec, we will define the different properties for that resource. One more proper data type you need to understand, which is a Boolean, which we represent in a true value for with a true and a false value. With this addition, I have added couple of additional notes. Okay, so multi-line strings, when you want to add any multi-line strings into your YAML file, you can use a pipe to denote start your multi-line strings. And yeah, so that is the one thing which we will use into our config map resource. Okay. Again, repeating that you should not use the tabs for the indentation into YAML file. Always use the spaces. Okay. And if you want to add any commits, you can use the hash, and that will be uh, considered as a comment. Perfect. So I guess this is very clear example here of the list. Whenever we are seeing a dash, which means it is a part of the list. So this is one item. The name of the list is the environment, and the first item is this, second item is this, and the third item is this. So if you want to find the dictionary in this, so here is a dictionary, metadata is a dictionary, and again spec is also dictionary, right? And spec is a dictionary, but it has the list inside it. How do we know? Containers is a list which has these two items inside. I guess that is what I wanted to explain into YAML crash coding using imperative and the declarative method. And that's the reason I wanted to have this video before we jump into the next couple of videos. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you very much.